Friends, we are in the middle of nature. Today we came prepared to try out a camping tarp. We're here with Guido, and we're going to see how effective it is for quickly setting up a shelter. That's the idea behind the tarp. Check it out. This is a material we've been wanting to try. The idea is to try it here since it needs to be set up between two trees. And look, we have this spot right here next to the river, and I'm going to walk you through it live so you can feel the excitement and see. Amazing. The idea would be to set it up in here, try it out, and at the same time fish and cook in this place. Guido, we have a great place to explore. See how it extends to the right. We're set for fishing. We'll cast and prep bait for bogus, carp, or catfish and see what we catch. But we're amazed by this place. Here we are, look, it's incredible. Yeah, it looks spacious. After we get the fishing gear ready, we'll walk around the place to show you. There are some logs and things over there. We're going to set up some makeshift tables, heat up some water, and, well, the idea is to fish and cook. We have the flour for today.
Santi will cast from up there, guys, since the entire ramp or slope is fresh mud. He has been going to the river and it's been raining, and since we're in a pretty dense forest, obviously it takes a while to dry and it's cool and dangerous, so it's better to cast from there. It's from a distance but still a good shot. So let's leave the star loose and wait to see what might happen. Were you thinking of a boga, a carp, or maybe a mancho? Same as always, really. Sometimes they bite the dough bait.
Look, we have this net that's really a vegetable bag. Let's try to make a scoop net. We have to go around the area and see if we can catch some minnows or shrimp to use as bait for the silver side. The idea is to find a fairly flexible branch. This one's a bit dry, but the idea is to make a circular frame, cut an opening here, and find a long stick. There are plenty here. Look, we have a spot full of sticks and branches which we can use to rake the river for fresh bait. All right, look, it's almost ready. We're going to use some braided line to tie all the loops together, and then we'll see how it turns out. Here, we're going to clean the area, look, so we can lay the tarp here. The idea is to stretch it from there to this point and lower it like a little tent facing the river, facing La Caña. And well, then keep cleaning down here. But first, we have to see if we can do what I'm telling you. Let's check the measurements, and then we'll let you know if it's a good idea or if it works. Well, look at this tarp. We're going to extend it now here and also on that side to give you a rough idea. I think it's about 4 by 3 more or less. Look. Obviously, it's waterproof. Yeah, trained by the entrances. We've shown you the cords and hooks, so let's set it up and see how it turns out.
Santi is changing the bait there to try again because so far it's been slow. The fish haven't been biting much. We already brought the fishing gear. We brought everything over here because in a while we're going to get the mate. We're going to settle in here. There's the thermos holder. As you can see, we're going to make a little fire over here. We're going to make a grilled cake. We'll come up with something to warm up. Also a little because we get a bit of shade, but as the sun goes down, the sun is shining here on the tarp we set up, guys, so it's really great.
Getting some mate ready, Guido, in a little while. After the mate, we're going to walk over that way, and once we come back, we'll have some logs we saw back there, like a little table. We're going to start making a homemade little cake. Look, we have a little bit of flour, a little bit of yeast, and just salt. We're going to mix it here, while we wait for a good catch to show up over there. Well, look, it gives us good shelter. Obviously, it's the first time we're setting it up, so we'll probably learn different ways to do it. Or if you have any advice or know how to set it up better, you can set up a tarp tent just by crossing it between 2 trees. Well, here we tried to set it up, as you can see, more like a tent, and this is what we came up with. Exactly. The wind is blowing the other way, pushing it down, not up. Look how beautiful. This is like a little mushroom, one of those plants that only live in the air, that attach themselves to the bark of trees. All right, we're heading out to explore. We're just going over there to that side. Note that due to recent rains, everything is quite damp. We spoke with a local who said permit issues are complicated, partly due to the damage they cause. People don't just come here to fish, and, well, it gets complicated. But it's a shame because these are really beautiful places to visit. This neglect is tremendous. Look, 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 look. Tell us in the comments if you prefer fishing or camping here. Depending on what we see, we'll be getting ready. But look at this place. We would have come alive. I'm going to show you where we are located. Over that way, estimate about 100 meters. We're going to keep going a bit further over there. Same. Yes, I can make a floor from logs. Look at the logs up there. Look, those logs are perfect for making small tables. Little benches. An incredible place. So don't forget to give us your opinion in the comments about how you would set up a shelter, go fishing, or camp here. Like that, and we'll also read your tarp setup suggestions. Look. Like this, we come back to this place with something more prepared. These are excellent fire starters. We're going to set up the little campfire we were promising you. We're going to make the bread, and in the meantime, we'll wait for the fish in case we catch one. We have aluminum foil to prepare it, wrapped with vegetables. Or, in any case, with a little grill, one that we can make with sticks. It'll probably be a pretty primitive little grill. There's Guido, searching for firewood for us. Like I said, you can't complain about this place. We have firewood everywhere. Look, we're stepping on it, and this small log is perfect for the fire. Notice that the sawdust is still here from when they cut down the trees. We're going to try to use it as a fire starter, too. We have to see if it works. We'll be testing it out in a little while. All right, let's make the little cake. In this case, most of you who already watch the channel know that we usually make it with lard or a bit of oil. But today we're going to make it as simple as possible. Just flour that we have in this little bag. A little bit of warm water, salt, and yeast. So it's going to be as close as possible to a traditional bread than anything else. We're going to prepare in this small bowl. I thought about pouring the flour out, but it's better to prepare it in the bag. So let's try to make a little hole in the middle with our hand. We're going to use a little bit of salt. We have to make a little circle, which is where we're going to add a bit of yeast, mainly so it changes the flavor and makes the bread a little bigger. Look, here we have a little log. Guido went to get the yeast. We already have the campfire here, and we made a little shelter for the wind. In the meantime, we're waiting for the fish, which haven't shown up yet, but we're sure we'll catch something. But today the priority is, above all, as we said, to share the place, the essence of nature, and especially this beautiful moon that we prepared in this place. Since we don't have scissors, we're going to use a knife. We'll add a little since we don't need much here. I think that'll do the trick. Now just a splash of warm water left over from the mate. And now we wait for it to activate a bit. And well, after that, we mix it well, prepare the bread, and light the fire. Well, that's how it turned out. Let's put it here. So it cooks well. Take it easy. The smoke follows us everywhere with Guido, and it's killing us. The wood is really damp. It's intense. So, what did you think of the shelter? I think for the first time, it's pretty solid. Especially, we noticed it includes many ropes. We haven't shown you everything yet, but we'll share all the contents soon. It has many ropes for versatile setup. But this is the one we wanted to do. Kind of like an improvised little tent, and look how it turned out. It protects us from all the wind. See how the smoke goes toward the river? That's because the wind is coming from back there. Look, here's the little bread for the tortilla, little by little, right there. Now it's flipped to cook on this side. Look, there's more smoke than anything else. We left a little ember there, really gentle so it doesn't burn, and it's heating up. It's hot, look. It turned out amazing, let's put it here. It's still pretty hot. But look how it turned out. You can see it kept rising, you can tell right there. And look, only the embers remain. The smoke has already made us tired, but we're using the time to properly put out the fire, which is necessary. In these places, especially lately with the wind makes it so that even though it's winter, well, you have to be cautious. Look, over there, let's take advantage of it. Guido, look how great that little cake turned out. Amazing, it turned out perfect as always. Here's how the little scoop ended up catching bugs. Obviously, because of the time, we won't get to try it now, but we'll leave it here to test it another time. Notice that if you have such a long stick, you get better reach to search along the river and it's more comfortable. So next time we'll be testing it and we'll see if it's effective. Here we also have a lagoon to explore. And well, I think in those places we'll have a much better chance of finding fresh nests. Guido, we agreed to show what you brought in the small bag from the tarp.
Honestly, it surprised us. The number of ropes it comes with, it has too many and they're very long. Each one must be about 2 meters.
Also, not only do they come with ropes, but look, they come with a little block to tie the knot. Look, see how it turns out.
It's like a threader, so to speak.
A little hook thread to anchor it to the ground. Tents usually include these, but we were surprised by their usefulness and the variety available, so we want to remind you again. In any case, make sure you know how to use it or find another way to set it up. We're going to be reading, look at how much daylight we have left. Basically just a few minutes. All right, we have a very spacious place where we can go fishing, camping, with shelter, with tents. So we'll be reading your suggestions, and we'll see you in the... See how the birds are already seeking a place to sleep as evening comes. The doves, the guiguas, they're all looking for the trees. Look, over there are the guiguas, all sleeping, getting ready, sheltering themselves from the cold. Listen, these are the guiguas. The chita. Quite peculiar, the sound they make is very similar to a pig. Look at this area, one of the ones I mentioned earlier to go over the copo. They're small little channels. Channels, look to the right. We also have another one here, but it's a bit tricky to get through because of the animals. They've left a lot of mud, but in this whole area, we have plenty of spots to try out the copos. Well, we've finished today's outing. We completed preparing the tarp and tested it to see if it was effective. In my opinion, it was very good. What did you think, Guido? Very good.
Very good, very useful. We need to learn more practical ways to assemble it faster and different methods, but overall, very, very good and very useful.
Imagine that right now it's winter, but in summer for shade and wind issues. I think it's going to make things much easier for us. And what Guido said is very important, because we still don't have many options for how to set it up. But anyway, I think this place, this big forest, will help us try things out in different ways. And above all, well, I want you to give us your recommendations in the comments. How can we set it up? So, well, folks, as we always say, we'll leave it here for now. Thank you for watching and joining us. See you next time.